Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Toxic Talks, episode 22, I believe. And I will say we had a pretty decent week. As you guys can see, we've been checking out Expedition 33. We did quite a bit on the game, and we still have a lot that we would like to do. It is an absolutely incredible game. I honestly didn't expect to play it because I get like turn-based games aren't really my thing. When you think of turn-based, you think of like Raid Shadow Legends kind of thing. Like it's not really my kind of style. However, we absolutely fell in love with this game. We ended up doing the first playthrough. I think it took us 4 days. Basically did everything. There was a couple things that I missed out on, but nothing that really impacts the story or build or really anything like that. But um, it's definitely going to be game of the year. It's definitely going to be game of the year. There's no question about that. Asman on his stream and in a YouTube video he talked about, or someone basically commented they're gonna win this award, this award, this award, and I wholeheartedly agree. The music is incredible, the visuals are incredible, the story is incredible. They might not win all the awards. That's very unlikely, all things considered, but this game is absolutely going to be game of the year. Like unless there's some game within the next few months that I don't know, like is just magically being like worked on right now. This is going to be game of the year, but we'll basically go through my experience of it. So, initially, when I was starting to play, I basically tried to, I guess, imitate Asmongold's build up until we got to the point where we didn't really need to like worry about damage capping, and then we sort of went our own way. And for the most part, the game isn't terribly difficult. Like obviously, you do have to worry about certain skills and certain perks in the game that are called pictos, pretty much. Um, but the majority, the majority of the game is pretty straightforward. The hardest thing about the game, I would say, is getting the parry timing right. That's one that's, well, even if you're really good at video games, you can fuck up a little bit. And don't get me wrong, there are times where I would argue that I parry at the perfect time and the game doesn't really register it, but you know, it is what it is. But pretty much we did that. I want to say it took us 22, 23 hours to get through our first playthrough. I want to say get through it. I mean, like we did the main story. The main story and everything that we wanted to do took that long. And then after the fact, we ended up doing like all the other side content that you can't really do until you have the ability to fly with SK. But we ended up basically doing everything else. We went to every location. Um, we did miss like a few of the perks or pictos um, in the game that I mean or would have ended up helping with our build, but on playthrough 2 we ended up getting that, but it doesn't really matter in that turn. And then one other thing we did end up forgetting to do was I didn't know that you could turn in the journal entries that you got for Lumina, but we missed that. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. It would have been helpful, but um, I'm at the point where I can just farm Lumina. It just takes a little bit longer. But that's basically where I'm at. And right now, uh, for this week's video, you guys will. We're not done with technically the main story, but you guys will see sort of like me going through New Game Plus with pretty much as easy as possible. This week's first video is going to be about Expedition 33. The next one is going to be about um, Nightreign, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Um, but in terms of in terms of the build, like right now, we don't really need to care about the story too much. Like when we're playing it on stream in between Nightreign and this. We're basically just skipping all the like dialogue because like we've already gone over it. We've enjoyed it on Asmon's stream. We enjoyed it one time on my stream, and I do tend to see it a lot on social media. So we're just sort of going through it, trying to get as overpowered a build as possible. I think there's only new game plus plus on this. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what I heard. So basically, we're gonna try to make it so that when we do new game plus plus, we are like literally can just one shot anything with ease, and that's basically the plan. So that's what we're sort of working towards. But I will say this, the story is absolutely incredible. The like even if you're not really into turn-based games, um I would still recommend it. Again, I do not enjoy turn-based games. I wholeheartedly enjoyed this one. And if there was ever another game that was a turn-based game that people were arguing that was game of the year, I would probably end up playing it just because of Expedition 33. Like this sort of changed my viewpoint on turn-based games. At least they would have to be really really good for me to enjoy it. I would still wouldn't want to play um certain games turn-based, not because they're bad, but it's just not my style. I have very particular gaming choices. Like when people are like, "Oh, you play every kind of game," and I'm like, "Yeah." Or like, "Oh, do you play Rainbow Six?" No, I don't really enjoy Rainbow Six. That's not for me. But I know that Rainbow Six is an incredible game, as well as you can see by basically all the clips that come out of it. And I'm not trying to shoot myself in the foot if anybody wants to work with me in the future, but it's just not my kind of game. And, it's sort of like if you like pizza or not. Like pizza's good, but some people don't enjoy it. Some people don't enjoy it. And that's sort of me with turn-based games as in general really. But now that we have Expedition 33 under our belt, I don't know if I could really say that too much anymore. So, it's been good. But in terms of other games, we ended up playing Nightreign yesterday as of the recording of this video. Um I would say I sort of have mixed feelings for it. And if you guys have basically seen all the, I guess I would call it drama out of the game, what I would say is coming off of playing Expedition 33, which again is going to be game of the year, I think it definitely lessened people's perception of it for Night Rain. Like, I would argue that Night Rain as a game is like a 6.5, maybe 7 on a good day. Like if there's like a dry season or a dry spell for video games, it could maybe get up to 7. But as it goes, coming off of Expedition 33, and honestly comparing it even to Elden Ring, it's a 6 out of 10 game. It's a 6 out of 10 game. It's not bad, it's not great. It does what it needs to do. My main gripe with it is that it's sort of there's no like shiny at the end of the road. The only like this is what you're sort of building towards is like the stones or whatever you call it, the relics that you get. But even still, like there really isn't much in terms of like depth to the game. But in fairness to it, Fortnite really didn't have too much depth to it, and it's still an incredible game. But you know, I can see I can argue. I was talking about this with some of my friends the other night. Like I can argue that it's worth the $40. I would stand by that completely. It definitely it's like I wouldn't say it's niche, but it's like it definitely has its player base. And like if you just need some time to kill, you can you can play Night Rain. But like if you're sort of on the edge, like is this a game that I want to make my main game for a while, or is it like is it gonna live up to the hype of Elden Ring? I don't think it does. I don't think it does. Elden Ring was just next level. Nothing can really compare to it. It was world class. This game is just sort of like people are saying mid, but I mean I somewhat agree with that sentiment, but I would say it does everything well, but it doesn't do like anything exceptionally great. So like I wouldn't say mid, but I would argue probably probably like a 6. So like just above mid is what I would argue for it. But I will be playing it. I will continue to play it for a little bit, but I might like do half days on Nightreign and then half days on Expedition 33, but uh I don't think it's one of those games that will last terribly long. I think people will play it for a couple weeks, enjoy it, and then they'll go back to the games that they really, really enjoy. But we'll have to see how the cards unfold for it. But like I said, I'll continue to play it. I enjoy it. I don't think it's like game breaking in terms of how video games have been, but it's definitely pretty decent. And you know, for what it's worth, $40, I would argue that you'll get your money out of it. But you know, we might be playing Expedition 33 quite a bit until what's it called? Arc Raiders. But we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. I might end up returning to Throne for a little bit, but you know, I just sort of feel a weight off my shoulder not playing Throne and not like having to grind it out. Like don't get me wrong, I don't mind grinding a game. I don't mind getting what I need, but like there has to be like like an end to the grind or at least a pause to it. And Throne, I don't really feel like I get that pause, but we'll see what ends up happening. There's options for what we're gonna do in terms of that. Um, but that's basically what's happened with me in terms of gaming. In terms of life, um, I will say I will say still dealing with certain issues, but I've started to get back into my groove. Um, I found a schedule that sort of works for me that allows me to rest and relax. Like before, I didn't really have too much time for myself. I was either at work uh, with the X now or preparing for the next day of work. And I really didn't have too much time to breathe and process and basically give myself the time that I needed to refresh and rejuvenate. But now I'm able to basically get that in and don't think of this as a sort of like a positive. I don't look at this situation as black or white. It's it's a lot more complicated than that, I would say. But um, I think I definitely needed to give myself some more time to myself. I will say that. And also now that I have free time beyond just giving myself time, I'm able to do certain things that like had to basically squeeze into my schedule. So now I'm basically uh, just allowed to I guess, stretch my wings and fly in that kind of sense. But again, I don't look at it as a positive or a negative, black or white. It's just this is just the hand I've been dealt kind of thing, and I'm just gonna try to enjoy what I can. And basically, what I would say in terms of this, and I don't know if a lot of people could, I guess, grasp that black or white, the good or bad kind of thing. It takes a lot. More people would be like while the breakup is happening or while all this other stuff is happening, like, oh, this is shit. Oh, now I'm able to do this. This is good. Instead of it being sort of like the old parable of like the Chinese farmer where he gets his horses run away and the town says, "Oh, that's terrible," but then he finds a horse and then the town's like, "Oh, that's great." And then the son starts training him and uh breaks his leg, and the town says, "Oh, that's horrible." But then the army comes to start taking people to fight in a war. But since the son's leg is broke, the town's like, "Oh, great, that's great for you." And it's like it depends. Like there's always good, there's always bad. It's never black and white. But that's basically how I look at it. At least for me, a lot of people can't really see that. But for for that, what I would say is, even though you can't, like most people can't really see it in that regard, what I would say to those people who think of good and bad and all that stuff is, in terms of my position, just because one door closed doesn't mean another will open. So you may think at this time, oh, this is so terrible, this is so terrible, but in in a couple days or a day or a week or a month, you could be winning the jackpot. And then when you win the jackpot, you lose all the money in the jackpot, like spending, like, just because one door opens and or just because one door closes and another one opens, it's not necessarily black and white. But just know this: bad times do not last, good times do not last. Enjoy the good times, and know that in the bad times there will be more good times in the future. That's basically that's basically what I can offer to you guys for this week as we continue forward in this year. It's By the time this video is released, it's going to be halfway through the year, which is actually crazy. This year has gone by ridiculously quickly, but we're doing what we can. We're enjoying it. And you guys stop by stream, you guys will see me continue to play well Expedition 33 and Nightreign, and we'll see how long Nightreign lasts. But I'm hoping for at least a little bit. I still like, even if I don't find like a way to do it, I think it's a nice way to kill the time. Um, Pretty decent. So we'll see what ends up happening. But that is all I have for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Toxic Talks. Let me know what you guys think of in the comments. And I hope each and every one of you guys has a wonderful, wonderful week. And as always, take care. And I'll talk to you guys later.